So when you
well, as compared to the highest,
so the moment
will be in one. Yeah, one will be the largest area.
but the moment it's getting smaller here.
Yes.
So here is smaller.
No, on this side, it should be both should be.
I'm proud of them.
Here it's smaller.
Equal and opposite. Yeah, equal and opposite.
Okay, so but when you insert the wire here,
So what happened? Why I'm here? Because she had some rotation of this incisor. I need to show to the guys later on that there were reciprocal rotation between the two laterals and the two centrals. And since they were quite well corrected at the center point, I removed these two wires and I've just used this. One thing that you will have to understand, that once this wire gets the rotation, there is a lot of friction between the wire and the bracket. So a lot of people don't understand that, but in the expecting, I'm giving a moment for rotating. Maybe just imagine that I'm talking with all the guys there in the waiting room. So just imagine that we had a reciprocal rotation between the two laterals, and I was using a geometry 6. So this geometry 6 has corrected the rotation, but at the same time there was a lot of friction between the wire and the brackets. So is it true that we were only having a moment and so a rotation? No. Yeah, what's the matter?
Recently we are plugging the link to the camera.
So you can't see anything?
Anything.
Okay, just wait here.
We are we are already.
Oh, you are now seeing?
Yes, we are now setting up.
It's been recorded anyway.
Ok, but I'll tell them again. Tanto te non hai capito niente, quindi te lo ripeto. È vero che non hai capito niente?
Esatto.
She's so beautiful, huh?
It is.
Okay. So, I was saying that the two laterals and the two centrals, now I can hear the echoes from there.
Yeah.
The two laterals and the two centrals were rotated. I think they were both couple were rotated to the distal. So for a few months, 2 or 3 months, quando è che hai messo l'apparecchio?
Circa 2 mesi fa.
2 months ago, she had this big rotation. So, because I can't remember when she did, but it was very recent. So they were like this, rotated like this. So I had a wire between the two centrals, rotating, and another wire between the two laterals, rotating. So in a couple of months, the rotation was almost corrected.
Did you have a bypass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will see the pictures later on, okay? So what happened that you should understand is that if you have these wires correcting the rotation, they do not deliver just the moment, even if you work in geometry 6. Why is this? Because there is friction. So is the wire free to slide on the bracket during this rotation? No, because there's a lot of moment between the wire and the bracket, so the friction is high and there's no possibility for the wire to slide easily. If there is no possibility to slide easily, you create distal forces. And that's why you have spaces that were not existing. At the beginning, here there was crowding, and now we have even too much spaces. So that's something that should be understood within biomechanical terms and should be very easily predicted. It's not something that, oh, what happened? Okay, guys. Avrei capito, sì?
Che cosa? No, insomma.
No,
No, capito che hai detto
scherzando. I told her, now the second time I'm saying it, now you understood, didn't you? I said, what? Ma lo parli bene inglese?
Insomma.
Insomma, allora una terza volta avrei capito. No, ma sai, il problema è che io stavo parlando di cose molto tecniche, oltre che in inglese, quindi insomma non mi aspetto che tu lo capissi.
No, anche l'italiano non le capivo.
Anche in italiano, hai ragione. Now we were saying that she wouldn't have understood that even in Italian, so. And I understand you. So now we have created this excess of space, and of course I'm just using this stupid ligature to correct it. Now let's see, this lateral has a distal tip which is in excess, so we just can have an activation of this by bending this a little bit here, here. So you really understand when you see this configuration why the wire like this should intrude this lateral. Because like this you don't understand. Seems also an exclusive system. But let's take the wire now out. Let's insert it here. And you understand that when I have to force this part, will produce an intrusive force to the lateral. One thing that happens very often when you activate this kind of loops is that the top part of the loop goes very easily out, which can be sticking. Make no problem in taking the wire and apply a third order band like this in order to decrease the discomfort of the patient. It's the same thing we had before, but now it's not very much out as it was before. We could do the same thing for this lateral with the neck, with a box loop. What we probably at the beginning this was less important, the distal tip back. So this has already been partly corrected by the rectangular loop. So here I will give also this kind of band. This kind of bend should be one-third maybe it's a little bit too much because it starts to be too rigid. Let's reduce it. I want to teach you something. How is important the position? You see, I'm closer to the lateral with this V bend here. And I have to see that when I raise the wire here, if I'm able, you can see I have this interference here that's disturbing. There must be no inclination of the wire within the brackets. Here I see it in its inclination, so I'm not happy. Okay? So let's make a bend like this. See, there is no inclination between the wire, the brackets are very little. There is, but it's much less than we had before. When they are parallels, means that I have no moment. If there is no moment, I have a geometry from the classroom. Good. Okay. So, all in all, what are you expecting by this alignment wire? A mesial tip of the two laterals. One is delivered by the rectangular loop, one by the V bend. And it's okay. Dammi le legature. No, dammi la catenella. Va. So we'll have space closure here. There will be mesial tip of the two laterals, which is okay here. And vertical forces that will be, apri un pochino, intruding the laterals and extruding the centrals. Okay, we'll see hair in 2 months, but probably if you even, I will take pictures next month, so you will see them, what happened in 1 month, okay? So you also had your lecture about geometries, and again, you understand that geometries are not just a theoretical concept. No, this is dammi il... che è un pochino troppo girato. Scusa. Questo lo tagliamo. I think the wire slide it a little bit. Okay. Dammi una metallica. Okay, so let's see what we have in the posterior area. Ci apri la tua bella bocca? Okay, here we have the mesial rotation of this premolar, probably partly corrected already, and so I have a wire which is, that's why we don't have the wire extending to the first premolar, because first I would rather correct the mesial rotation of this premolar. So let's cut this ligature. Puoi girarti di qua per favore? Questa rigatura noiosa. It's very well hidden here. Okay. Now the wire is passive. Okay, so actually it cannot be. Now if I am activating this for distal rotation, what will happen to the premolar? Classroom. Classroom is silent. È un po' d'inglese lo sai, eh? Classroom. What goes in? Okay, look at the molar and the premolar. Is it okay that the premolar goes in to the palate?
No.
Why not? You see that the premolar is more buccal than the molar.
You talking about the 4 or the 5?
I'm talking about the 5. Oh, the 4 doesn't even have a bracket here. Look, the relation between the molar and the premolar. You see the second premolar is outer than the molar. Okay?
Yep.
So if I do this, I will correct the rotation and at the same time improve the transversal position. relative position. And I just need una legatura singolare. So now you see that even in these small things, there is way to think with the biomechanical thought. Mi tieni con lo strumento di utilità perché devo tenere anche il filo. Non ce l'ha fatta. Verso di me. Here is more or less passive and we are waiting for the canines to erupt. Chiudi per favore. That's a very simple case. Nothing special. Once I have corrected this, I will probably start some expansion for the posterior, and then I will bend the lower and expand a little bit also the lower. So it will take probably 3-4 months to complete this area, and then I will have this well aligned. In the meanwhile, we are waiting for the eruption of the canines. This is a treatment that should be finished not more than 18 months.